Alright, streaming begins. Let's see if everything here works. First I gotta refill my water. It's not a stream if your water isn't refilled. Chris Long said it's the CPU MOSFET. The stream has been open for 20 seconds.
Oh, shit.
No. No! You cut that out. Alright, so let's take a look at what this board is doing. Let's see, what do we have here?
Does this one even have a CPU MOSFET?
So this is a board that Paul said uncle on. Paul caved. And Paul kind of... Look at this. What? This is...
Some holes I just won't touch.
Is this painful? Or is that... Look at this. So first you have this by the Thunderbolt circuit. So, Thunderbolt... No way! Out of here! Hell no, Thunderbolt. By the ISL 6259, it looks like we have quite a trio of wires over there. Gorgeous, beautiful. But we don't have a green light in the charger. So what do we need to get a green light in the charger? Well, the first thing that we need to get a green light on the charger is PP3V42. And how do we get PP3V42? Well, first thing we need to get a green light in the charger is we need for the charger to talk on the adapter sense line here to the SMC chip. And see, sys1 wire, if we follow this back, this over here is the SMC chip, U5000, SMC. Thank you to Antonio Scartazine. I'm sorry for screwing up the spelling and pronunciation and all that of your name. What happened if I disconnect battery in A1534 without pressing disconnect battery button? Probably something bad. Anyway, so sys1 wire is going to talk, which is the SMC, going to talk to the charger through adapter sense, through this chip. This chip needs this chip to send it power. This chip gets power from PP3V42. So let's see if we have PP3V42 on this motherboard. So we look for PP3V42 underscore G3 hot. And what do we get? And it's not going to be the CPU MOSFET because Chris Long is always wrong. Chris Long is not going to be correct today. So put my multimeter range into something that's a little bit more reasonable here. Now let me just connect my power supply to the machine. So we hit connect. We set it to 18.5 volts, 5.1 amps, ahem, and turn it on. And it looks like we're drawing 0.002 volts on the power supply. So the power supply is connected directly to a MagSafe. Now, if we look on the board, we find the inductor over here that's pictured. And on PP3V42, instead of getting 3.4, it looks like we're getting 0.23, which is not 0.4 at all. So let's turn the power supply off for a moment. I love being able to do that from the screen. Beautiful. And we're going to check and see the resistance that we get to ground on PP3V42. So PP3V42's resistance to ground is 3.94 kilo ohms. That seems on the low side. However, even though that's on the low side, that in no way, shape, or form should be leading to us getting 0.4 volts on PP3V42. Tim, you're wrong as well. So, let's try and figure out why that's the case. So let's go over the PP3V42 circuit. Well, This is the circuit responsible for creating PP342. So the first thing I would ask myself is, do we have input voltage on this chip? We can't blame this chip for not doing its job if pin 6, if this chip is not receiving its input voltage. So let's see what we get on pin 6 of U7090. U7090 is going to be right here on the board view, and pin 6 is going to be over here. Second pin on the left from the top. And it looks like... Oh, I didn't turn the power supply back on. Well, that was dumb. Let's turn the power supply back on. Ching. So it looks like on pin 2 we get 18.46 volts. Next up, the shutdown pin. Now, this chip does not have an enable pin. It has a shutdown pin, or shouldn't. And if you read this works, is it needs to receive, I think, something over 2 to 4 volts in order for it to turn on. So that's going to get it through R7080. So R7080 is a 0 ohm resistor in between the input voltage of the chip and the shutdown pin. So the whole configuration of this is designed to always be on. So let's see what we get there. And it looks like we get 0.24 volts at that pin. That's going to enable PP3V42. Yet on the other side of that resistor, we get 18.45 volts. But on this side of the resistor, we get 0.24. Now over here, it shows that R7080 is supposed to be, which is this little bastard over here. See? Here it is on the board view. Here it is on the board itself. 0 ohms. So I'm just going to unplug the charger and check the resistance. And that resistor measures open line, but the schematic says 0. Which means that after Paul did all this work, after he did this, after he did this, after he did this, and this, and this, that I get to take credit for the entire board repair. Is that not fair? Alright, so I have to replace a 0 ohm resistor. Let me find the board with a 0 ohm resistor.
Here. Sure.
Oh. I can completely understand why you would have thrown that board at a wall by then. I wouldn't have hung in as long as that by it. Aaron says Antifa levels of resistance. Yep. Alright, so. I can't wait for the new chair to come. I feel bad every time you kick that in to work on it. Let's get this dial on my Weller set. Right now it's at like 12. I can't even tell when it's on or off because it was switched all the way over there. Piece of shit.
You should just open it up and just solder a wire with a resistor in there. You should just open it up and take the knob out and just solder a resistor.
I'm thinking of just taking the knob off. Yeah, that's a good idea. Alright, so let's get rid of this resistor.
Any luck with that Litecoin 78? The sensor one? Oops.
Your voice cracked.
Veneer is putting
Yep,
the...
that's because the
Fix it?
pedal
I
board
think so, I don't know.
is buggy.
It's passing ASD.
Now I can choose, so if I
But the
choose
fan is
Windows
still
Audio,
spinning.
it'll
I don't
crackle.
know.
If I choose direct sound, it'll not have,
I
it
just found a bunch of dirt
will
on
be
the
out of
cards and
sync.
stuff.
So would you prefer crackling or out of sync? Let's take a vote in the chat. Which one sounds better? Stream you. There's some case, Windows Audio just makes it. All right, yeah, we're back. So I can choose between these options. If I choose direct sound, you're out of sync, and if I choose Windows Audio, it crackles. So this little program lets me route shit between these VST plugins that I got like 10 years ago, back when I still actually worked in music. I think this one was recent, like a few years ago. But these ones I got like 2007 or so. So I could take the two audio inputs of my camera up here, and I can route it to plugins, and then I can route those two plugins to a limiter, and then I can route that to output. But yeah, that's the clusterfuck of a setup that I use for this. And it's a nice little program. It's just I have a choice between two settings. One setting crackles, and the other setting causes out of sync audio. I used to use VST host, except the thing with VST host is that it cannot remember settings. So before a stream, I would actually have to manually route all that shit. So VST host was decent, except you have to literally manually route all of that stuff before every stream, which was utterly maddening. A level of effort that I don't want to screw with. Anyway, feel free to leave a suggestion in the comments, because in the stream stuff it'll probably get lost. If it's something you've actually used, that would be awesome, rather than I think this will work or I heard this may do, because my experience with those types of suggestions is that they lead to software that it's like, hey, I heard you needed a word processor. Here's Photoshop. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Wouldn't be a case to do a board swap. The thing is, I think this board still goes for a good amount of money. Making this work is preferable. Let's just tidy up the ISO. Try Jack Audio. Jack Audio, I think, is a Linux thing, and it's also, I put effort into it. It's fairly complicated. Jack Audio was a project for me. Okay, let's turn this power supply on. So it looks like we get a green light. We get a green light, but we're only drawing 0.004 amps. So let's check a couple of things. Now what do we get on PP3V42, which is the circuit that we just worked on? PP3V42 is 3.4. PP bus G3 hot is 0.4. Okay. So first question, do we have a short on that? I think you have money to buy better software. Well, I do, but I haven't found anything specifically for this purpose. Reaper was actually kind of a nightmare. Trying to route everything. It wound up just either sending things out with huge delays or sending things out with huge distortion. If there was actually a program that did all that shit, I would just, like, I'd drop $100 or $200 on pedal board minus bugs. There's a command line plugin for VST host which may let you make a batch file to yeah. I think I'd wind up just saying screw streaming. Let's see. So let's see resistance to ground on PP-Bus G3 hot is 0.4 ohms. So there's a short to grounds on PP-Bus G3 hot. And I wonder if it's through this ISL. Is this the old ISL or the new ISL, Paul?
New.
New?
Yep.
Okay. So where is our short to grounds on PP-Bus G3 hot? Where is my short? Where could you be? I wonder if it's over here. Is it okay to cave at this point?
I already did.
Did you have a 0 ohm short to ground on PP-Bus G3 hot?
I didn't find it.
Huh?
I didn't find it, if I did. I had a green light for a while.
I have a green light too, but I have the 0 ohm short to ground on PP-Bus G3 hot. I'm debating using it as a frisbee. This board is a fucking frisbee. Yeah.
That might be in the holes.
So that short to ground is probably up here.
I could probably dig that out then.
That should get dremeled at a later date, man. That's next.
You want this one?
I have my stack over here. Okay. Okay, let's open a different one. Ulog candidate. Yeah, that'll get, maybe that can get 20 volts at the end of the year. I actually have a power supply that goes up to 32 volts now, so we could probably make a much more sexy Ulog stream this year. That was one of my favorites. Frank Sinatra and Martina McBride singing Christmas songs while the board goes on fire. I almost kind of want to put that in the window for this year, but I think you probably need a license for it. A headphone and speaker cable is interchangeable. I mean, it's just copper, pretty much. Alright, let's open another one. We tried Mini Host. I haven't tried Mini Host. Let's add that to the list. What's a Mini Host? Mini Host Modular Image Line. Modular environment for interconnecting hosting VST plugins. Hello. That sounds sexy. Ooh. Windows XP Service Pack 2 or higher. Okay, that's scary. So, what was this last developed? Yeah, you know what? I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. I'll try it. Yeah. Bookmark, baby. What a great camera angle here. Profesh. Jessica came here the other day with ABC to film for hours. Oh my God, we dropped a phone off a roof. Oh my God, let's open it. Oh my God, does it work? It really laid into like why the mainstream media is failing to me. You go on YouTube and you can see people figuring out like opening phones, fixing them at component level. You have jerry-rig everything, going over the specific objective metric where you could figure out where the glass scratches, does it bend, it's all the, you know, how do you fix it? And then you have ABC. I'm not kidding, they had stagehands here, so they had people whose job it was to do nothing other than hand something to somebody else. So if somebody says, hey, can you hand me that thing? The stagehand does it. So you had like 2 dudes here that were probably getting an absolute minimum of $200 a day, just standing there doing nothing, literally nothing. Because if Jessa needs something, she's not going to go, hey, stagehand, can you like get up and get... No, she's just going to pick it up. They had a camera person, a sound person, a director, and 2 stagehands in this office to record for 2 hours talking about dropping a phone off of a roof. Like, I can't wait till the day... And this is what advertisers are spending money on. It's fucking insanity. I mean, who would watch that shit? Who would watch that shit? Jess is nice, though. So I said, sure, you could film here. She messaged me and said, so how do I get you to say yes to a favor before telling you what it is? How do I get you to say yes to filming with ABC? That was just a genuine waste of time. What made me sick more than anything else is that everything that they did, filming something that was boring, spending a day on it, and having a 5-person crew that's getting paid union rates to do all that, was totally financially viable. Like, it's not even silly to them because the advertiser money is there. So people are paying to advertise on that. Just, oh. Such a waste. Okay, let's see how much power this board draws. I got rid of the green screen chroma key effect on I can't change the font or the font color. And those colors don't really blend well into a background. Really? This turns on? Really? Really? Oh, that's so boring. It's lame when they already work. Alright, let's take a look at what this looks like and try to figure out why it was that this was not turning on for a customer, but is turning on for yours truly. Nasty. Look right here. Ha 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 ha. Guess how much Jessa got paid for that. What happened to your cat? He has pills that it takes me about an hour or 2 to feed him. That he has to take. Yeah, I think I'm making this better. By the way, we now sell Gootwick for anybody who wants the official wick of iPad Rehab. Just search for Gootwick on store.rossmangroup.com. Gootwick, the official desoldering braid of iPad Rehab. Jessa said she was out of stock and that she couldn't sell it in her store, so she asked if I could sell it in mine and just give her credit. So. Gootwick. I asked about that the other day and was ignored. I don't know what you asked about. I'm confused. No clue, my man. Alright. Let's go over here. Clear up some of that garbage and filth. How's it going, Chris Long? Chris Long prefers the inferior tech spray. He'll come around someday. I believe that Chris Long will eventually come around to using the superior Gootwick over the inferior tech spray. What's wrong with the kitty? My kitty was using tech spray wick for too long, and after a few months of using tech spray wick, Mr. Clinton got magnesium stones and crystals in his bladder. Yeah, it's just one of those things that happens when you click on Chris Long's affiliate links. You know? One day you're clicking Chris Long's affiliate links instead of Lewis's, and the next day you got magnesium stones in your bladder. Just gotta be careful, man. Some says there is YouTube videos. Why YouTube player? Louis, did you try to make your cat vegan? I fed him this Wyo song crap for about a few weeks, like 6 months ago. But then I went back to wellness very quickly after. He usually eats wellness core. He's a spoiled bastard. He's expensive cat food. Yeah, he eats wellness core, the salmon one. Alright, I think this board is going to be beautiful. temp should I have the heat gun at while swapping components? Totally depends on the components in the board. Somewhere between 350 to 450 Celsius, I'd say. But that depends on your board. So I bet after the ultrasonic cleaner, this is never going to not turn on again. But I'm doing an urgent repair of a printer from 1995 for a customer that's stuck on Windows 3.1. What the fuck? What's wrong with that piece of pile of garbage? So it looks like we're drawing a consistent 0.6 amps, which means that this is probably all good. And we've also got a spinning fan, and I'm not really sure what else you could possibly ask for. I mean, what, you want...
You want the keyboard to work? What?
Why are there so many pubic hairs with the board? That's a question that you would have to ask the board's owner. I wouldn't be able to answer that one for you, I'm afraid. Stuck on Windows 3.11 and doesn't want to upgrade. Jesus Christ. Why are so many Mac boards covered in crap? Well, again, that's another question where I would refer you to asking their owners. Why do you spend $1,200 on something that you plan to treat like toilet paper? And I don't have an answer for that one. I'm careless, but I also do try to, keep water away from things or stuff of that nature. Be nice to my machine. Costs a lot of money and all that. Most likely there was no green light because the corrosion was shifting by that SMC reset circuit. Let's spy on Paul. I can't see what he's on. Okay, we'll put this through the cleaner and I'll show you what it looks like on the way out.
Do we have the PMIC for this board?
Which one? Which chip do you need? I think I have everything besides the PMIC. Oh, U7000.
I think that's... No. Yes. Yeah,
I have... one moment. Alright, that secretism is done. Let's toss this board into the cleaner. You'll get to hear some nice noises. Zing.
But I think I want to be convinced more that it's dead.
Okay. Next on the list, while we're cleaning that one. There's nothing left that's any good.
Nothing but shit.
I don't want to work on shit.
You want to take over this one?
What's that? Oh god, touch bar. I mean, 12 inch.
It's a non-touch bar, but close enough.
That looks terrible. That doesn't look fun.
Okay, I have 0 on high power enable. What does that mean?
Wait, which one is that? Did they change the font on that PDF? Hyper. Huh. I have no idea what that does. Maybe Interso will give us a data sheet if we ask nicely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So, it would be really nice to know what half of those pins do.
The power gate enable is present. There's 20 volts on the input.
It's just not doing its switching?
There's no switching. But I have 0 on this high power enable.
Do we have another 12 inch you could compare it to?
I don't think so.
Or
We don't have any working ones.
you want to buy one with your own money just as an experiment, and then if you break it, have it be a personal liability?
No.
But that's such a great opportunity for you.
I refuse to own any Apple products.
Me too. Alright. Let's grab another one while that thing's cleaning. Okay, next on the list. %, drop frames. That's awesome. So, one of the things I set up over the past few days is I got a Verizon DSL connection, which is 3 megabit down and 0.7 megabit up, but it's a failover with Time Warner, so when Time Warner fucks up, it switches over to that. So if you happen to see, so instead of my stream dropping entirely, now it'll just drop to 700 kilobit per second. Yay! I gotta get some more magnets, and be right back. Flip this board. Might as well show you flipping the board on the ultrasonic. Look at what a fun part of my day this is. You can see. Look at this beautiful store. Alright. Yoink. Take the PCB. Don't touch the water. That water will give you ass cancer. And get a magnet.
Alright, some Grand Tour fans in here. Love those guys.
Why is the power supply tilted? Why is it tilted?
Because Jason doesn't put his screwdriver back.
Oh, this is a screwdriver under. This computer says dank on it. This must be owned by a meme master. Meme master. Thanks to Paul for taking care of people's OCD. How did you even see that? Good eyes. Did you find your YouTube audience or did you create it? I don't think I found or created it. I think you all, your moms all created yourselves. Alright, this thing's opened up. I unplugged the battery. We're going to plug in the power supply. What do we get? So I saw a blip to 0.5 amps that immediately went away. So now let's disconnect everything from this and see if disconnecting stuff fixes any of our issues. So I'm going to unplug, we're going to disconnect the trackpad, the keyboard, and the I/O board. I do bench 10 Mac. Let's see. Yes, I bench 10 MacBook on each side of the bar every day. Wait, it's only like 165 pounds. I take that back. You ever consider doing a shop tour? My shop is kind of like a shithole, so I'm not really sure if that's the greatest idea. I guarantee whatever your expectations are for how this place looks, it's probably lower. We're in the process of de-shitholing it. It's taken quite a while.
It's a technical term.
Paul has been instrumental in the de-shitholing process. Alright, let's see what we get. When we disconnect everything, it seems to take a consistent 0.66 amps, and eventually it will probably turn on. But the fan is not spinning. You may notice the fan doesn't spin even though it's turned on. So you may wonder to yourself, well, Lewis, why is it that the fan doesn't spin if the computer is on? Isn't this a powerful computer? Isn't this a powerful computer with a really tiny heatsink inside of a really tiny case with no vents? Shouldn't the fan spin? You probably forgot what brand we were working on, man. Oh, you thought this was a real computer. No, this is an Apple. So when you touch this, this is really, really burning hot. Like, ow, like I shouldn't be touching that anymore. Apple. Go Apple. So the thing is turning on to some extent. It is drawing 0.6 amps at 18.5 volts. Now let's just test for a couple of common things. So the first thing I'm going to do is see why is it that after disconnecting so many things that it turned on. Kind of curious why disconnecting shit made it turn on. So let's take a look under the microscope at some of the stuff that was corroded. The first thing you may notice corrosion on is the keyboard connector. And the keyboard has things like the power button, and the power button is instrumental in things like the power. No power button, no power. Now, if we were to check some things like voltage at CPU vCore, we could see if the thing is actually turning on? Do we have a brain that's turning on and all that good stuff? So this over here is the CPU heatsink. Right next to the CPU are some coils. Right here is some corrosion by the CPU. Oh boy. Chris Long, if you weren't right on the last one, you sure are going to be right on this one. You evil, evil man. So let's check and see if we have voltage here. And we do. We have 1.87 volts of CPU V-core. And on the coil below it, 1.87 volts. So the CPU is turning on, but we don't get anything on the screen. So let's take a look over at the screen connector area. Now it does look like there was corrosion here. Some of it possibly cleaned up. I do see that the little red circle that indicates water was there is red, and it is cleaned. And pin 1 of the LCD connector has clearly been fucked with. So first thing to do here is try and figure out if it's at least trying to turn the screen on. So I'm just going to unplug the power, plug it back in, because the screen's probably automatically turning itself off since it hasn't had any activity in a while. Just lower the exposure here. That's a Jessa doing free spots on ABC level of exposure there. By the way, did I say that Jessa did that for free? $0? How much advertising money do you think ABC makes off of Good Morning America? They shared none of it with Jessa. The nerve. The nerve.
You didn't even get your Pepe on screen.
The fucking audacity. I didn't even get my Pepe on screen. I didn't have time. I had a student. Because I had a student, I didn't have time to litter Pepe all over the office like I wanted. I wanted to set it up so that monitor that she was sitting in front of would very slowly have a Pepe come up so that the guy wouldn't even notice until afterwards. But, you know, what are you going to do? I didn't have the time. Anyway, let's open up the schematic and good old schematic and board view. Good old schematic and board view and look at the screen section, see what's going on. Screen connector is J8300. You can see that in the bottom left in the microscope. On the top left, you can see that in my board view software. And then we will see it again in the schematic on the right side of the screen shortly. I wish I had a wireless multimeter. Fuck, this is frustrating. I want a wireless multimeter. Paul, can you make a wireless multimeter?
I'm actually trying to make one that's in the microscope so you can see it while you're still looking in the microscope.
I want one where the wires don't go over the screwdrivers or the keyboard ever again.
That would be a trick.
What would be really cool is if somebody made a Bluetooth multimeter and built it into the actual probes, and each probe was rechargeable. Oh, that would be cool. But the probes would have to be attached to each other, though, so there'd still be a wire. But I could live with that. Anyway, so this is the LCD connector here. So the first thing we need, before anything else, before you get backlight, is voltage going to the screen. So you can see over here that we have, on pin 28, 29, and 30, we should have PP5V, aka 5 volts, going to the screen. And let's see if we have 5 volts going to the screen.
Wireless multimeter probes makes me think of the wireless
Yes,
anti-static wrist strap.
Thanks for your help with the surprise gift for the boyfriend. Oh my, you didn't have to do that. Thank you very much, Lauren Philby. I'm glad it was received and appreciated. Really happy. But you didn't. Thank you so much. Alright, so it looks like we do not have any voltage on our screen. So, in the beginning, this was not turning on. We unplugged the keyboard, which is probably fucked, and it turns on. Then, we don't have anything on the screen. We look at the screen connector. It looks like S, C, and B. I will let you guess what that all stands for. And, as you can see over here, the connector has a little bit of green shit in it. A little bit of green shit. So, I'm going to try a different screen and see if that makes it any better. Alright. So let's find a new screen.
USB-C?
Did it say LOLs 2006? Oh, 2015. I thought that said LOLs. Alright, Alright, let's try another screen. What spec PC do you use? I have a Lenovo P50, and you can see the specs of it in the review that I wrote. And this thing at the office is some 6-core, 3.3 gigahertz Haswell that I bought back in 2014. The only thing that I would replace on it is I would probably redo the case because it looks like utter garbage. I didn't do any cable routing. Like none. And I have fans being held in because I lost brackets by Cat 5 wire. So there's that.
That's my favorite part.
Alright, so let's see if we get a picture on the screen when we plug this in. And hey, it's dead again. Oh, no, not. It's living. Alright, let's see if we get a picture. Or anything at all. Now this cable is so short that I have not really, let me see. I can balance the screen on my legs. And then I can measure the inductor. If I stretch this up a little. Yeah, here we go. Okay, it's drawing an extra 0.1 amps, so I'm kind of hoping that's a screen. And here we go, 5 volts. Oh, and let's see what we get on backlight, though. Backlight's probably still shit. Backlight is still 0. Alright, so backlight is still 0 volts, but at least we get a screen. With his, we don't get image and we don't get backlight. Here we get image but no backlight. So I'm getting 5 volts at that part of the circuit. Right down here, 5 volts on the LCD connector for LCD power. Kitty's doing better now. Oh, this crap is coming up in chat again. Bye. Bye bye. Let's see. Alright, so let's try to figure out why it is we're not getting a backlight. So on pins 3 and 4, we have this I2C data line. I2C backlight SCL, I2C backlight SDA. And if it's never going to open backlight voltage to the screen if there's an issue with that data line. So those data lines are pulled up by resistors that are on the, as you can see here, the other side of the board. Which sucks. Now those are pulled up to, I believe, yeah, here we go, 5 volts. So over here it says PP5VSO. So that should be pulled up to 5 volts. So I'm going to do my best to arrange this pile on the desk so that I can actually, yeah, this cable is so ridiculously short you can't really do shit. Now look at this. This is the fucking cable length that I have to work with while testing. So I need to plug this in and then lay it on the desk without it coming out, and yeah, that's not gonna happen. So let's see. How can I arrange this so that I could plug it in and also do my measurement? Alright. Okay, now I need it to be, the cable is really short, so it pops out all the time. So I need the latch to be open so that I can measure pins 3 and 4. Pins 3 and 4. Okay, now how am I gonna, oh fuck. The screen is over the MagSafe, so I don't know how I'm gonna plug this in. Oh Jesus. Alright, let's fish. This is what a 1-wire circuit's for, right? U7000 is getting tested on this machine. Okay. Oh, I was cleaning Paul's wires. Oh crap, I forgot to take them out.
Oops.
Whoops.
They've been in there all day.
I tried to do a nice thing. I tried to do it. They had flux on them. What did the cleaner? What did that fluid do? I'd love to see.
So someone was dumping boards after that?
The boards were cleaned on top of the wires?
No comment.
Well, the wires are good.
All right, so you get 5.17 volts on the SCL, and you get 5.7 volts on the SDA. So we don't have any type of I2C issue here that I can see.
I think that is
Oh yeah,
yours, right?
yeah. That was the one for the one that you gave me. That's an L3. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
What's up?
That's perfect timing. So, we're not getting backlight for what I imagine to be some really annoying random reason. It could be as simple as resetting PRAM, so let's try that. The thing is, how do you reset PRAM with an LCD that's half plugged in? Now, the alcohol mixed with Branson, are you...
Wash my hands in alcohol.
Yeah, but this has ultrasonic cleaning.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what's going on here. So I wonder with the original screen, if I reset PRAM, if I'll get a light. That would be really cool. Okay, let's plug it in with the battery. Oh wait, the keyboard on this doesn't work. Wait, so now I gotta find a working keyboard too? Really? All right. So now I'm gonna have like 3 things plugged into this at the same time.
What is it? Air filter? Oh.
Okay, Q-tip. Let me get a Q-tip. Oh, Q-tip. Thank you. I got a bus.
Magically appeared, right?
Magic. Okay. Plug in new keyboard. Now this is boring. Plug in the screen. Let's see, is it turning on? Who knows? There's no indicator LED. There's no chime. Okay. In a minute, China will copy everything if they show schematics like 100%. It's not about security because it's not nothing to do with it. I mean, you can get most of these schematics already. I don't see any other company knocking off all this stuff. I almost forgot on this one you need the damn... You need the trackpad plugged in for the keys to work. Okay, turn on. Come on, give me a nice long dong. Alright, I heard a nice long dong. Now give me another nice long dong. There we go, PRAM reset. Let's see. What voltage do we get on the LCD? 5 volts. What voltage do we get on backlight? 0, goddamn you. Lame. Okay. So resetting PRAM did not fix the issue of no light. Alright, let's take the board out, take a look, see what we find. Go down the rabbit hole, as they say. I just bought a MacBook, tired of Windows BS. I got it used on eBay. Thoughts on new MacBook? Oh, please tell me you didn't buy a new MacBook. You didn't buy one of the new ones without the real USB ports. No. Or the one with the soldered on SSD. Nothing says durability of data like soldering the SSD to the motherboard. You're working on a fake screen just for crap like this. Yeah, the short LCD cable is a big pain in the ass. How are you? Sorry for the long radio silence. Been away in a remote part of Scotland writing an album. That sounds like fun. I want to go to a remote area. Tell me you have your SSD soldered to the board. That's painful. Stream some PUBG. I don't know what PUBG is. Some place you go to drink? What are you on the go for? Don't need storage. Yeah, but don't you need your storage after your computer dies? Wouldn't it be nice to just be able to, when something like this happens, here's what data recovery is like for people who don't have the newest MacBook. Watch this. You need your data, you do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your data is back! You're fine! Now, on the new MacBooks, if anything happens to your data, that's like spending $400 to $500 for some place like us to do what Paul is doing over there. So Paul, can you show how do you get the data off of that new machine? Show how you get the data off of the new MacBook.
You have to repair this thing.
You have to repair that. The data is on here. It has to focus on my face. It's on this. You have to get the data off of that. And that's not using a screwdriver. It sucks. It sucks. Yeah. I know it. So if your machine if you've never had a hardware problem with a laptop ever, you are totally fine buying the newest MacBook. If you have ever in your life had a hardware problem that occurred before you had a chance to back up the latest thing you were working on. Yeah. May not be the best.
You think changing this PMIC is a good idea?
Yeah. What do you have to lose at this point? Is it look nasty? Corrosion by it?
No.
Burned at all?
No.
Any reason to believe that that's what's causing the issue?
There's no PP bus G3 hot. And it creates it.
I would go for it. It's pretty difficult, so I mean, I think you can do it at this point. You've done far more difficult stuff than that. They need to preserve the data integrity, so they can't get it off for you. Duh, says Chris Long. Yeah. Alright, let's take a look at the backlight. Thank you for the information as always. Just fixed an 820-3536 with a short while watching your stream. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Hope all is going well in Netherlands for you. So let's take a look at what's corroded on the other side of this board. Now, if we look, we have corrosion over here, the RTC circuit. So this would most certainly keep it from turning on. However, that has nothing to do with our issue, which is backlight. So I can just do a little bit of scrapey, a little bit of fluxy, scrapey, fluxy, and that should fix that issue. Maybe heat it up a little bit later. Right, bang. Ta-da! But that's not going to have anything to do with this issue. But we might as well fix that because it's going to cause a later problem. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Alright. Clean up the excess. Someone was asking how to prevent their heat gun from burning their desk while soldering. I buy these little kitchen sheets. Works well for me. I'll find a link to them later. Coglio, you should probably steal it from a donor board. Yep, the office is slightly less shitty. The person who brought that up. Alright, so this is the backlight driver. And as you can see, there's no corrosion, no evidence of any kind that there's anything wrong with it. Because if there was, this would actually be easy. So let's plug in a screen and get to testing a bunch of random things that could potentially be wrong with it. I used the paint stripper to repair an old Acer laptop since eBay sellers are price gouging for a replacement board. They want it close to 100 when the laptop is sold for 400. Imagine that. The piece of the computer that is essentially the computer is being sold for 25% the value of the computer. Imagine. In other news, LCD panel to $400 television sells for $200. Okay, let's plug this thing in, get you to turn on and start making some measurements down here. Alright, so let's first check if Q7700 is open. Okay, where's Q7700?
Successfully replaced.
Does it work?
I don't know. They stole the USB-C charger.
We'll steal it back. We'll steal it. Alright, so this is a P-channel transistor, meaning that this is only going to open if the voltage on the gate is lower than the voltage on the source. So we need the voltage on pin 4. So that's going to be 12.6, and the voltage on pin 3 has got to be lower than that. So it's on, as evidenced by its power current draw. Voltage on pin 4, 12.5, and voltage on pin 3 is 12.4. Fuck. That is no good. So, lame. So that means that the LED driver isn't doing what the LED driver does. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for this. What if the machine thinks it's sleeping? Or thinks... So let's check out SMC underscore LID. Four, five, six. And hey, now we're getting a light. So SMC lid is up, and magically, out of nowhere, it is opening. So that thing that measured 12.5 volts a second ago now measures 8, and my screen has a friggin' light on it. As you can see, if I flip this up, there's a question mark folder blinking. I give up. This probably just needs to go through the ultrasonic cleaning for the shit near the LCD connector. I'll touch up the LCD connector a little bit. Let's touch up that sad excuse of an LCD connector with a little flux and solder. Flux and solder. Paul, when you were teaching in the Marines, did you pronounce the L in solder?
Nope.
Why not?
Because that's ridiculous.
What makes it ridiculous?
It's just, it's preposterous.
I concur. If you support our troops, you will not pronounce the L in solder. Finally, somebody else that gets it. The ultrasonic cleaner works by making a bunch of bubbles in the water that then shoot up onto the thing it's cleaning and explode, and which cleans through a process called cavitation. Okay, so most of my corrosion is gone. Thank you, Flux, for doing that for me. Dave Oscillation says, "You're wrong, Paul." Spoken like a European. Oh, you can't see. I'm an idiot. You couldn't see the entire time. Europeans make everything complicated, like check. Instead of C-H-E-C-K, it's C-H-E-Q-U-E. Like, why are you adding a Q-U-E, bro? Check-ua. Or an E to the end of it. Come on. Let's be real here. That's not necessary. Much prettier. A fitter, happier, more productive LCD connector. A fitter, happier, more productive LCD connector. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. That means I get to go home. Well, this was a night of unfortunately boring repairs. One thing was unfixable, one thing already worked, and the other thing randomly started working again for no reason. That's kind of weird. Oh well, hopefully there'll be some more interesting stuff in the queue tomorrow. And, yeah. That's it for tonight. As always, I hope you learned something. And remember, if you're going to buy a quick 861DW hot air rework station this holiday for your family and your friends, your wife, your brother, your mother, make sure that you buy it from store.rossmangroup.com and not from the evil Menden iPad Rehab Supply Store. That's it as always, and I hope that you learned something.